the channel. It's been a year now since I got my roof nest. I figured I might as well do a review of my experiences with this roof nest sandpiper. It's no longer an available model, so I don't know how much value is in this review at this point, but I think it just speaks to roof nest as a company, if anything else. I can imagine that the build quality would probably be on par with existing models, so I don't know. Anyway, let's dive into it. So this is how I pack it up. This is what I keep inside at all times. A pillow on one end, the sleeping bag folded up in the middle, blankets on top, and a pillow on the other end. Notice how I leave space here, obviously for the struts to come down as they fold into these notches here in the mattress. And so that's why it's folded this way on each side. And from an interior perspective, this tent it's comfortable. After several nights in this on end, I do find I get a bit of a sore back. I mean, the mattress is nice. It's probably one of the nicer ones. It's on the firm side for sure. Maybe sacrificing a little bit of storage space for comfort. You could add another a foam mattress or memory foam or something else just to add some cushioning. One thing I wish, so my biggest pet peeve about this tent here, notice the shape of it on the outside, right? This up here, obviously that's designed so that you can fit a roof rack, and I love having the roof rack on this tent. It holds my solar panel, and it's recessed, so it's protected. It's the perfect setup. I can add little bags or some things to it still, which is great as well. But my pet peeve inside, and this is what I was expecting. When I got this tent, I was expecting that inside it would have basically bulges where, so this would be the center, and then at the end, it'd be like this. So in this bulge, I figured it'd be hollow, and it would follow the contour lines, but no. Instead, they just made the whole roof inside flat. And this to me is a big fault in the design. This should have been, and you can actually see where it is. Like this here should be open and hollow. So in this way, I could take all my pillows and my sleeping bags and everything and just pile it up on one side here, and on the other side as well, where there's a smaller bump, and everything will be stored in those. When I compress the tent down, everything will be stored inside those cutouts. And then if I wanted to have an extra mattress, like a memory foam or something, I could just put it in the middle, and I still have the exact same amount of, actually I have more stuff inside, and I have zero problems closing the tent down. So roof nest, if you're watching this, if you're listening, or any other tent manufacturers, if you do make a design of a tent like this, please include, don't have any wasted space. This is all hollow, wasted space. I've been thinking about cutting this out several times now just to make it hollow and to access that space, but I think I would just wreck it and ruin it, so I'm not going to. Some of the finishing touches, such as like this coming out of here, I mean, it's not a big deal, of course, but I don't know why this mount couldn't have been on top of the fabric. I mean, I think it would have looked nicer. And then if you ever needed to replace it, it would be easier to access. From the perspective of the finishes, I've never had any issues with water. One of my other things that I don't like about this tent is the windows. The windows they're either open or they're closed. And what I mean by that is on the sides, the only one you can actually regulate is this one. And that's because it has an inner mesh and an outer flap. And this flap folds down towards the bottom as opposed to lift up, because this does not have an awning, so to speak. Like all the other ones have like rain flies that open up, and that's what I'm talking about. The other side here, as you can see right now, it's closed, so the only way I can get some privacy is by having it closed, and by doing this I reduce all my airflow. There's no other vents inside here, so it's only the windows. So if I close this down, I have no airflow. If I open it up, I have no privacy. So I gotta pick which side I open, which side I close down. I would like to have the awnings open on all sides, and then have a third flap, just like this one, that I can close halfway from the bottom. This way too, when it rains, I can have the protection from the rain on the awning and then have no water, no rain getting blown inside on the lower ends. So when it rains, you're completely buttoned up in this tent and there is no airflow whatsoever. So that I am not a big fan of. And I gotta admit, I have not been easy on this tent at all. I mean, like, you've seen my videos of us bushwhacking through the trails, and like, this is what you get when you ram your tent into trees. So it does break, obviously, and it exposes the little metal inside, which is now rusting. And the last thing I don't like about this tent, so there's three main things. The first being the fact that you can't ventilate the windows properly. The second one being that it has missed its opportunity to have excellent storage space inside. And the third one is that closing it down is kind of easy, but it has to be perfect. So if you put it down in the front first, it closes down perfectly fine. Then you go down, push down the back, and it doesn't line up. So this bugs me. So I got to unlatch the front again, realign it a little bit, move it back a little bit in towards the rear, and then close it again. So that makes it a two-person job most of the time, rather than a one-person job. And it's not as easy as you would think initially. I'm not sure how to fix that. I'm not sure if it's a matter of having a larger a cover, or maybe I bashed it against too many trees and the front is somewhat curved inwards. I don't know. That's quite possible, actually. This is the summer setup. So basically what this is, it's two different sleeping bags, two different ones, actually zipped together, so that gives you a nice double, the whole width of one and the whole width of the other, so it's a double basically. Obviously for two people. Makes it quite easy, more comfortable. It's warmer too. Anyway, this is a summer sleeping bag. These ones are rated. This one here is my winter sleeping bag, and it's very thick. It's very warm, very comfortable. It's by Teton Sports. I'm pretty sure I got this off of Amazon. And it packs together massively. Like, it came in such a big bag that it's this thing is massive, and it's thick and extremely warm. It's not compact whatsoever. It's not a practical sleeping bag. It's a warm and comfortable sleeping bag though. Very warm and very comfortable. So I'm gonna try to squeeze it up in this little tent and see if we can still close it. I haven't done this yet. Alright, let's see if we can fit this thing. So this sleeping bag is bigger, wider and longer than this whole entire tent. That's how much fabric I'm dealing with here. And it's thick. This thing is like super thick and squishy. But it's so comfortable. So how am I going to fit this in here plus pillows? Let's find out. Alright, let's see if we can close it. This is what I mean. It is a lot of back and forth, and unless it's lined up perfectly, it's in. So to recap my 3 points, 3 main points I think are faulty in design. The first one being the windows lacking ventilation in case it rains and you gotta close everything down, unless it rains without wind, which is almost never the case. 2, the inside storage could be a lot better if they were to utilize and leverage the hollow points that are in place due to the rack. And the third one, when you have a tent that raises up on all 4, you know, there's a lot of wiggle room, so sometimes the lining up, it doesn't line up perfectly, so you got to readjust it so it closes down properly and latches and fits on everywhere sometimes. Okay, so I've given you the things I don't like about this tent. There's also obviously lots of things I do like about this tent. First of all, I think it looks great. It's also very tough. I'm not easy on this tent. As you probably know, if you watch my videos, if you watch this channel, I'm not easy on this tent when I go wheeling, but it's been holding up really well. The stickers, not so much. I don't care, they're just stickers. It can be replaced or removed. The shell itself, it's tough, it's rugged, it has held up to some substantial abuse. The rails for the luggage or whatever storage on top have been holding up, no problem. I love that I can fit a rigid solar panel in between them. I just fabricated up a very simple mounting design. So versatility, this was absolutely for me, not to lose my roof rack's capacity entirely by placing a tent on top of it. This was a big deal, a big reason as to why I chose a tent that had a rack option. Yeah, I already mentioned it's very waterproof. I have had 0 issues with water coming in other than from condensation. The marksmanship of it, marksmanship? Is that a thing other than for shooting? Craftsmanship, that's it. The craftsmanship is pretty good. I mean, yeah, some of the seams could be sealed better, and it looks like it's coming off in some of the spots. But like I said, it's been out in the rain. It hasn't had any water come in other than from condensation. So I hope ventilation obviously is an issue, or can be an issue, unless you have all 4 sides open. But yeah, it's a good tent. I'm glad I had a year of experience with it, but I think I'm going to change up in the near future to something different, just to try a different style of tent and to see what else is out.